In this video, I'm going to try using ChatGPT to rank a blog #1 on Google, and I'm going to be documenting the entire process. See, over the last year, I've gotten hundreds of blogs to the #1 spot using the help of AI. But people still don't believe me when I say that ChatGPT can actually help you rank if you use it the right way. Because when you really dig into Google's policies and rules, you'll see that AI-generated content is not the issue, it's spammy AI-generated content. So using AI to write your content can actually help you rank faster if you do it the right way. And I'm giving myself 24 hours to prove it. And what it looks like is that we did increase rankings to about. Plus, I'll be taking you alongside step by step so that by the end of this video, you'll know once and for all if ChatGPT can actually help you rank better if you use it the right way, or if I just wasted my time for nothing. Now, I can already imagine people in the comments saying if we pull this off, that the only reason is because we already have high domain authority. However, I just want to point out that all of our competitors do as well. So we're not really just going for low-hanging fruit. This is actually going to be a challenge to pull off. And with that said, I've mapped out everything that we need to do. So I have this checklist built out. We're going to start by analyzing the blog post. We're then going to score the existing content using AI. We're going to rewrite and optimize the blog, and then we're going to request indexing and then check results after a day. So let's get started with step 1, reviewing the blog post. We need to know exactly what we're working with here. And in this case, we're going to be working with an article for an SMS software company, and the keyword is promotional message examples, basically talking about promotional message examples you can send through SMS. And it's been live for about a year now. Unfortunately, it's losing rankings to Google, which I'll show you guys in a second. And that's because it has outdated information. And as of now, it's pretty much invisible to Google. And the whole point of this step is figuring out how and actually change that, because not all blog posts are salvageable. Some actually need to be completely scrapped and rewritten. So let's dive in and see if it has some potential. So let's go ahead and start with step 1, which is checking the current Google rankings and reviewing traffic data in Google Search Console. So we'll start by checking the ranking. We're going to type into Google promotional message examples, and right now I am on a completely guessed account, so we have no existing data that's going to affect our rankings. If we scroll down a little bit, we are not on page 1 out of all of these results. And if we scroll back up to the AI overview results, we are not anywhere in the AI overviews, and we are not mentioned anywhere here. So we are essentially invisible to Google. Then if we dive into Google Search Console, what we can see here is that we are filtered by the exact URL. So we're seeing data only for that live blog. And we have been declining over the last 3 months at the very minimum. Once again, this has been live for about a year. And we are getting to a point where we're getting less than 5 to 6 clicks every single day. So our traffic is completely non-existent. And you can kind of see this downward spiral throughout the entire process. So we go from around 30 clicks to around 6 clicks per day, which is a 5x decrease. So now we know what we're working with. We're going to move on to step 2 right here, which is scoring the existing content using AI. Quick FYI, you can get all of the prompts I'm going to use in this video completely for free down below in the description. So this is where we need to figure out exactly what's worth keeping and what we need to let go. And I'm referring to content, because just having more content doesn't necessarily mean you rank better. In fact, having a bunch of low quality content sections can actually hurt your rankings as a whole. The other thing we need to do is compare our existing content to the competitors trying to rank for the same keyword, preferably the ones ranking in the top 5 or the top 3. That way we know what's missing from our content, and we can make our content even better than theirs. Okay, so I have some prompts here, and again, you can get these all in the description completely for free. We're going to start with this step 1 prompt right here, and we're just going to paste it into ChatGPT. It doesn't really matter which model you use, you can just use the auto thinking. And then we're going to take the existing blog post, which is here. You can actually just copy the entire thing, and you're going to put it in where it says paste article. So you can take that out, you can paste the entire article, and what it's going to do is give you a visual breakdown of exactly how it judges and scores your content based on all of these factors in the prompt. And it's also going to do this based on real life research. So it's going to use its search tool to look at the top performing articles on that keyword. So diving through the results here, we're looking at missed opportunities, and it's giving us a bunch of missed opportunities, such as having no unique POV or brand authority, kind of brand voice type stuff. It talks about missing industry specific examples, internal SEO, so like internal linkings, things like that. And then this is a step where you can either move to the next prompt, or you can add more fuel to the fire here. You can go and do manual research. So a tool like Surfer SEO allows you to do manual research, it aggregates the top results in that SERP, and you can go through here and look at all the headers they're using just like this. Or you can just search up the keyword yourself on Google and manually click through the top results and kind of optimize what ChatGPT needs to look for and use in their content. So we can go ahead and mark off this first step here, feeding the blog post into ChatGPT, and then also the second step, which is using AI to score the keyword relevance and buying intent alignment. And lastly, what we've done so far is prompt ChatGPT to identify weak sections and structural issues. This is not just good for us to kind of look through, but it's also good for the bot for our next prompts to have this kind of analysis in place. And then we want to make sure we're actually analyzing the conversion opportunities. So adding call to actions is typically a manual process. So we want to make sure that we prompt the bot to add call to actions, and I'll add this in the second prompt and I'll show you where to add it. So this step right here, analyzing where we're missing conversion opportunities, we're going to just do this quickly manually and see that, for example, our call to action at the end is pretty weak. We don't have any in-text call to actions all throughout it. So we're going to add some of those. Those look like this. Let me give you an example. So sign up for a free trial or request a demo with Texcellent. We can also add some more context to this, but we essentially want to add opportunities like this for call to actions. So we can go ahead and mark this off. Now, if you've never ranked #1 for any of your blog posts before, I'd be careful before trying something like this on your main site, because using ChatGPT to write your content can actually hurt your rankings if you use it the wrong way. So if you want a team of experts to handle the entire process for you without trial and error, you can book a call below. We've helped dozens of SaaS companies rank #1 on Google, and we'll see if we can help you do the same. So if you want to schedule a call, you can use the link down in the description. And then now we're going to head into step 3, which is rewriting and optimizing the blog post. So the first thing we're going to do is use ChatGPT prompts to rewrite the content for keyword buying intent. And once again, it's going to use live data because it's using its search feature. So coming into our prompts here, we're going to head to step 2, and this is going to be the prompt. It's just one big bulk paragraph like this. You can just paste it right into ChatGPT and then change the main keyword right here. This is the only tag you have to change to the main keyword you want to target. You can hit enter and then watch it kind of rewrite its thing. All right, so just spit out that long article right here. And one thing you'll notice is that it has a bunch of citations and a bunch of formatting. You just want to ignore that for now because we'll have a prompt at the end to kind of copy and paste this without any formatting. But the next thing we're going to do is add our CTAs, quick 1-sentence CTAs, so we can go ahead and mark that item off. So in ChatGPT, right after you set up that second prompt, you're going to want to do this process a little bit more manually, so I don't really have a prompt for it, but you're going to want to give it examples of call to actions to add throughout the text. One example could be add a TLDR section in the beginning where you list 5 bullet points summarizing the entire article. And the 5th bullet point is a natural shout out to Texcellent, still relevant to the concept and topic. All right, so that's one example of a call to action section. You can also add call to action sections all throughout the text. So one easy way I'll do this is just taking the previous call to action section from the previous article. So a good prompt for this, I actually just added it to the prompt section here, and also in that link in the description, is going to be saying rewrite the following CTA section to be benefit driven, more persuasive, kind of more in depth around the core message and bullet points and kind of about the product itself. And then in this example, it says to change it to conversational SaaS style language, but you want to have the language be whatever your ICP is. So if you service home services businesses, you would say, and conversational home service businesses language, for example. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And then we can take the previous call to action just like this and paste it where it says paste original text, just like that. And then hit enter. And then as you can see, it pastes out a really in-depth and really nice call to action section that you can use throughout the text and optionally at the end of your content. So we're going to go ahead and keep that on the side for now. And then one of the best call to actions that you don't want to miss out on is using sentence call to actions. So sentence call to actions kind of look like this. So I'm going to paste in an example I pulled. And basically, if you ever introduce features or offerings around your product, you can add a sentence call to action that looks like this. Sign up for a free trial or request a demo. This can also be considered a paragraph paragraph call to action. So for example, let's say we didn't have this second paragraph for here. After just a random section or any section all throughout the text, you want to evenly space it out and make it natural. We talk about text length simplifies audience segmentation. So this is a great example if we pasted it after an audience segmentation point of the article. And what we're going to do is tell ChatGPT through its flexible tagging system. So it's mentioning a feature that allows you to organize, target your audience with precision. So benefit, you can tag contacts by interest, purchase behavior, assign representative, and preferred language, and then the sentence call to action here. So sign up or request a demo. So we're going to give a call to action like this to ChatGPT, and we're going to say, please add 2 to 3 of these CTAs evenly spaced throughout the text, and only add one before a new H2. That way it doesn't break up H2 sections. It's only before an H2. So we're gonna say add 2 to 3 of these. And then you could add once I ask you to rewrite the article. Don't add it now yet. And I'm also gonna add a note about the TLDR because I accidentally pressed enter on that. All right, cool. So it understood that. Now there's a few of these that are optional. So the next one is prompt ChatGPT to suggest UX, UI elements placements. So essentially, if you have UX and UI elements on your blog that you can add throughout the text, you want to have ChatGPT suggest to you where in the text you should add those elements. It's kind of similar to adding this sentence or paragraph call to actions. You don't really want to overlap those as much. So you just want to ask for recommendation from ChatGPT. And then in our original prompts, we're ensuring that AI optimization is going from informative to informative and persuasive. So that's all good. And then I'm going to jump to this last one real quick. Use AI image generation for optimized featured image. We're not going to do that in this video, but if you have experience doing AI images, you can create a branded AI image for your featured image. Otherwise, you can use a stock photo software like freepik.com. So the last thing we're going to do is use ChatGPT to expand/condense to the optimal length. So one of the best ways to figure out your optimal length is a tool like Surfer SEO. There's also a lot of other tools like Ahrefs will tell you your optimal length on the given keyword. So right now we have our keyword in here, promotional message examples, and the optimal length is 3,200 to 3,600 words. Now we can't really get ChatGPT over 2,500 to 3,000 words. So adding our call to actions will bring it up to this optimal length. So we're just going to ask ChatGPT to bring it to 2,500 words. We have a prompt in here for step 3, and you're going to paste this in to ChatGPT just like this, and you're going to say the length of the article should be, and then enter your desired word count estimate. So if this is 1,200, 1,500, 1,800, whatever you determine from Surfer SEO. In this case, we're going to write 2,500 words, and then we're also going to say, please rewrite sections that are heavily AI written and sound human written. Then go ahead and hit enter, and we're gonna let this kind of expand out. Okay, cool. So now it just outputted an entire article, and it even added things like the TLDR, and then at one part of it, it adds this call to action. So a couple of nuances here. You're going to have to make the links yourself. You could actually give ChatGPT the links that you want to have it make and hyperlink, so you could just paste it in. But most of the time, web platforms like WordPress or Webflow won't take the right formatting, or it's going to mess up the internal link in some way, or the hyperlink rather. So you want to go ahead and just do this manually. So find all the call to actions that it puts throughout the text, and then you can make the hyperlinks manually. Also, real quick, this added way too many call to actions, so it's adding one every 6 sections. So you definitely want to take some of those out and kind of optimize that a little bit more manually. It also added this really nice call to action at the end that was a lot more in depth. It would be really nice to add some sort of product image here, which obviously ChatGPT cannot do. So there's still a little bit of AI assistedness or like human element that you need to add. And then as you can see, it adds all of these links everywhere. It adds the line breaks. So that's when we're going to include this last prompt, which says now remove all branding, formatting, such as line breaks, quotes, and citations. This needs to be a copy and paste article format with formatting for headers, bullets, etc. only. I'm going to go ahead and fix that prompt right there. Okay, cool. So it fixed up all the formatting like this. It's still out of these line breaks though, which is kind of annoying. So you can go ahead and put that prompt back in, and you could just say for line breaks, or you could just specifically say remove all line breaks now. But either way, I'm just going to remove them manually from our content. So this is where you can go ahead and copy this entire piece of content, paste it into Google Doc, remove all the formatting you want, make all the hyperlinks you want. And Google Docs typically copies and pastes directly and very nicely into Webflow, WordPress, and Framer, every other type of CMS. But on our end, we can go ahead and mark off this last step. And then lastly, we're going to publish the content, request indexing, and then check Google rankings. So just fast forwarded, we went live with the article and I just threw it into the inspect URL up here. So if I go ahead and copy the live URL, you can paste it into the inspect URL like that, hit enter. And then what you're going to see, if the content is already indexed, which in this case it is, it's going to say URL is on Google. But we went ahead and changed the page. So where it says page changed, you can hit request indexing and let this load until it lights up green. Now at this point, I've done everything I could do with the help of AI and very minimal human intervention. We've used ChatGPT to help us analyze the blog, rewrite missing sections, remove some low quality or weak content, and rewrite all of it to help us rank higher. So now all we can do is wait for Google to actually reprocess it and re-index it and see if we ranked higher. And at the end of 24 hours, I'll be updating you on the results. So if we can find out once and for all if ChatGPT can actually help us rank content well, or if I just completely wasted my time. Okay, so it's been at least a day and we're gonna go ahead and check in on our positional ranking over here. So we're on Google, we're gonna type in promotional message examples. And what it looks like is that we did increase rankings to about page 2, but we did not rank on page 1 quite yet. This should go up over time, but in just a short time span, we were able to achieve better rankings and increase our rankings. So we'll just keep an eye on this and watch it go up over time and slowly build its way back up to the #1 spot. Now, as you can see, AI can help you rank higher on Google if you use it the right way. However, ranking a post #1 on Google doesn't guarantee that you're going to get more customers. You still need to know how to convert all of that traffic into book calls and customers. So if you want to see how we used a similar strategy to get this SaaS company 50 demos in just 30 days, you can watch the video here and I'll see you over there.